Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 170 of Mike in the Midwest, our mini podcast for the amazing patrons just like you of the Be Our Guest podcasts. My name is Mike Rallman, host of the Be Our Guest podcast. You can find me on the socials at Be Our Guest Mike. Find me on Twitter/X, Instagram, and Threads. That's where you usually find me, mostly on Twitter. We could talk football, we could talk Disney, we could talk whatever you want. I just like making connections with our listeners. So reach out to me this week and let's have a conversation. But hope you're having a great week. It is Tuesday here in the Midwest. It's been beautiful. It's been a great fall here. Great weather, nice and warm so far. Not too much rain. It's just been beautiful. And hopefully you're having a great fall as well, wherever this show finds you. I know that we have a worldwide audience, so it's pretty sweet to hear that some people are having colder weather, some people are having warmer weather, some people are in the southern hemisphere, and it's actually spring for you guys. That's what I love about podcasting. We have a global reach, and that makes everything super interesting for me. Being somebody who hasn't gotten outside of the Midwest too much in my lifetime, I'm blessed that I get to make friends from all around the world. For example, this morning, just in my line of work, of course, I work in travel. I'm helping a guest book an Australian cruise, and they're from New Zealand. I mean, how cool is that? I'm working here in Missouri and helping somebody book a cruise that's going to sail out of the port of Sydney. I mean, that's pretty amazing. When you think about what you get to do sometimes and you just take it for granted, don't do that. Things are pretty cool. Anyway, hope you're having a great week. What's going on around here? We are just living the good life. I've been wearing a lot of Mizzou stuff lately because our Mizzou Tigers, my football team from when I was a child, we're rocking 7-1 going into the bye week. We have won 7 games, lost 1. Could have won that game, but I'm not going to look back. Off this Saturday, but have a big date with number 1 Georgia a week from this Saturday. So that's going to be a lot of fun for us here in the Show Me State. I truly believe we can do it this year. I know I'm an eternal optimist. I'm one of those Mizzou fans that always thinks that we can win, but I think we can this year. I think we can upset the number 1 team in the land. I think we can beat Georgia. We almost beat them last year. I was there. We were so close. So I think it can happen. So that's what I think. We have our first round of the football playoffs for Francis Howell this Friday night. So we get to have a home game. We get one home game because we're in the biggest division this year. So we are seeded 4th. So we get one home game. So we have one last game at the H this year. So that'll be Friday against Vianney, who Trent Green went there, our Rams quarterback back in the day. So that'll be fun and get to do that. So hopefully we win and get to continue on in the playoffs to the next week. But that's kind of what's going on around here. Not a whole lot else happening. Ricky and Pam were down in Walt Disney World this week. So and Scott was just getting back from Alani on Monday when we recorded yesterday. So tomorrow's show is wild. Just so you know, tomorrow's show is listener questions, but I didn't want to sit there and do it 100% by myself because who wants to listen to me all by myself as I sit here and think about that's what Mike in the Midwest is every Tuesday. So maybe you like this. I don't know. I apologize. I wish I could make this show better. I want to give you something extra for giving the support on the Patreon because you guys make the Be Our Guest podcast what it is. You guys allow us to keep the main podcast going, and I want to give you something extra, which is what this show is. But I don't know really what else to give you other than more content. And I try to make it interesting stories every week. I try to find a topic to give you more of what is about me and something that might trigger memories for you to maybe give you conversations with your kids, maybe give you something to think about on a run or walking the dog. I try to give you something worthwhile, but I know it's not super interesting listening to me just ramble for 30 minutes every week, but I appreciate your kind words. I know you're very nice. That's one thing about our audience. You guys are super kind. You say nice things, but I know it's not the greatest podcast in the world. It's just me sitting behind a mic here every Tuesday, kind of rambling on about senseless topics. But anyway, Wednesday show, I opened up the video chat. So we got a few calls. Ryan jumped in. We got Alfred came in. We had a couple other live chat questions. So it is listener questions, but it's a lot different this week. But next week, everybody will be back, I believe. And so we'll be back on track. But Friday's show is really interesting because we recorded that one early. Pam and I discussed tips for taking pictures at Walt Disney World at sunrise and sunset. And we really broke things down, settings for your iPhone that can really help you get good sunset and sunrise and sunset pictures, where to take them. My best place is Riverside, right along the Sassagoula River, shooting towards French Quarter. Great spot. But we give lots of tips for that. But it's a fun show on Friday, so I hope you enjoy that. But we have a good time. And please join us Sunday night. Scott will be back. Both of us taking your calls. You can ask Scott about Hawaii. He did all kinds of stuff. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So we'll be jumping on that too. All right. One thing I wanted to do. Where's my phone? Before, I always talk about what's going on. That's what's going on with the podcast. And I know that it's, here's one thing I want you to do in the feedback this week at patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. I'm going to do something that I want you to do. And I'm looking up on my Instagram here because I need the picture. Because it's one of the coolest things ever. And I got to brag on my daughter. And it's my daughter, Paige. It's my older daughter who's 27, who's up in Chicago. So as you know, Paige like I said, she's 27. She's grown up, going to Disney with me. Those of you who have been around the podcast since it started 15 and a half years ago, she's been down. She's run Dopey with me. She was at the Treehouse meet back in the day with Hannah. They dressed up and went to she's been around forever. Well, now, of course, she worked at Mizzou with the basketball program. She's now the director of basketball operations for the University of Illinois Chicago women's basketball program. So she runs basically the business operations of that basketball program up at UIC, up at University of Illinois Chicago. And they have had so much success since she arrived 2 years ago. Her and what happened was they hired the assistant coach at Mizzou, Coach Bracey. She was an assistant coach at Mizzou. She got hired to be the head coach at University of Illinois Chicago. And Paige went with that head coach, or went with Coach Bracey from Mizzou, went with her to University of Illinois Chicago to be her director of basketball operations. So they both went from Mizzou to Chicago together. And they're doing great things. The year before they went there, this basketball program won 2 games. 2 games. Last year, they won 24 games. So, I mean, that was a huge improvement. It was the biggest percentage improvement of any women's basketball team in the nation. They moved from the Horizon Conference to the Valley, the Missouri Valley Conference, which is a harder conference anyway. But that's not the thing I'm proud of. I'm proud of the performance, but what I'm more proud of is what this team does off the court. Try to get through this here because it's pretty cool. So one thing this team does is they're out in the community, and this school is in the heart of Chicago. They're downtown Chicago. Like when I went to tour the campus, I mean, it is right there next to the Sears Tower. I still call it the Sears Tower. It's the Willis Tower. I'm old. I call it the Sears Tower. I mean, it's by all the tall buildings in downtown. I mean, it is downtown Chicago. It's right by Lake Michigan. It's in the heart of Chicago. And, it's like in St. Louis, it would be the equivalent of like St. Louis University. It's DePaul kind of in Chicago's downtown. So it's right in the heart of Chicago. And they're always out in their community doing outreach, going to elementary schools, just being in their community, serving. They're serving. That's kind of the word that I'm getting with this team is they serve. And they have girls from all over because obviously they recruit. They bring in girls from all walks of life and from all over. Some are from Chicago, but some are from states from all over the place. And they even have some girls from other countries on the team because they recruit. But they did this program this past week where they partnered with this guy. And I don't know the whole story. I'm still waiting to talk to Paige because she's super busy this time of year. But they partnered with this gentleman who is blind, who started this foundation where they brought in these kids that had disabilities of different kinds, physical disabilities, lots of them in wheelchairs, just different kinds of challenges. And they brought them into the gym and had all the women's basketball players worked out with them. And if you want to see this, and I really encourage you to go look at this on Instagram, the Instagram account is UIC_WBB. So University of Illinois, Chicago. So UIC_WBB, like women's basketball. And you will see pure smiles on the athletes and on the the athletes with the disabilities and the athletes that play for the program and the coaches and staff of the program, because everybody was a winner. And after this program, I mean, everybody was just having a good time in their practice facility, because everybody got to dribble basketballs, everybody got to shoot, everybody got to, run sprints. And by running sprints, that meant the kids that were in wheelchairs did their wheelchairs back and forth with the athletes. I mean, it was pure joy. Everybody got to experience the joy of athletics. And, I'm an athletics guy, so I thought that was pretty sweet, because I saw that these elite female athletes that are some of the best basketball players around. These girls, or young women, are amazing they're probably the best high school athletes in, their area, because now they play in the Missouri Valley Conference, which is a hard basketball conference for female athletes. They're giving of themselves to these young kids with disabilities, and they're just doing it with pure joy. Everybody was winning in this instance. But after this program, and I don't know how this was set up, the other day, the program signed one of these athletes to a contract. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen this on TV, which I bet you have, if you ever watch any kind of sports. But when like a big name high school athlete decides on his college, and we're going to have this here in Missouri tomorrow, we have this wide receiver out of the St. Louis University. He's the best wide receiver that still hasn't decided on his college, and he's going to pick between Mizzou, Texas, Ohio State. He's got a few big schools, but we're hoping he picks us. But so what's going to happen is he's going to go to his high school, and they're going to set out a table, and it's going to have like all these logos on it and hats, and it's going to have balloons. It's going to be a big deal with all the press. Well, what they did the other day was there was this girl that attended the program with that they did the other day. Her name was Sage. And I don't know the whole backstory. I just see what I saw on Instagram. When I saw this, my heart swelled. They signed this girl to a contract to be a University of Illinois Chicago Flame. And so she got to have the whole treatment. She got jerseys. She got a home and away jersey. They had the table set up. They had the contract signing. The whole team was there applauding her. All the girls on the basketball team were there sitting in chairs watching as she sat at the table with her parents. The balloons were there. They had the step and repeat banner behind her, just like they do for press conferences. They had her name on the little table tent like they do for coaches at a press conference. If you could see the joy as she signs her contract to be on the team, that's what sports is about right there. I mean, every once in a while, ESPN will run these commercials. And I know you guys probably don't all watch ESPN, but there's this commercial that says, something about just sports. And that's sports. It's not always about hitting the game-winning shot. It's about the joy that just being on the team. Like, she's a part of the team. Is she ever going to get in a game? No. She is a UIC Flame. She doesn't play for LSU, the national champions, but she is the joy of being able to sign that contract. She probably never had an idea that she was going to get to sign a basketball contract with a college basketball program. But the staff at UIC, the girls on the team, everybody that's associated with the UIC Flames, well done. And I'm just glad that my daughter is a part of this program and that they serve the community and they find these opportunities to make people's lives better and to make moments like this. So I just want to send a shout out to Paige, my daughter, for being a part of this. Proud of you. And this is the good in the world. So go check it out. UIC_WBB. Check it out today. Okay. And here's what I want to know. Okay. I know I'm propping up my daughter, but I want to put good out there. And I'm sorry, I kind of choked up. I'm an emotional guy. I feel like I can't get emotional on the big show, but I can get emotional with you guys. I apologize for that. But here's the deal. Tell me, brag on your kids. Brag, even if they're older kids. She's 27. She's not a kid. But brag on your kids. I love hearing it. And I want to share it here because that's the good stuff. I don't care if it wasn't my kid. I would share that. That's the good stuff in the world. Lord knows there's enough bad stuff happening. Let's put the good stuff out there and help our hearts become whole again. That's what it is. You want to talk about something random? Well, let's hit the feedback from last week first. I got to do that. I don't want the show to get too long. Okay, last week we talked about homecoming when you can't go back because it was homecoming at Mizzou. We smoked the chickens, South Carolina, big homecoming. It was good. John Luther says, I love the episode about your father last week. It was a testament to who he is and how much he means to you. I'm very much my father now and wouldn't have it any other way. As far as going back, the image that first came to mind was up in Maine. My family had 3 houses in a row on a lake there. The first purchased in the 1950s by my great grandparents. The houses to each side added over the years. Every summer, I'd go up there for 2 weeks and every night was sitting on the porch watching the lake. Loons, ducks, and other birds would swim by as we sat there enjoying the evenings. Every evening was with my grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. These years later, the elder generations are all gone, as well as some of my parents' generation. Though I can still go up to the camp in the lake, it always feels bittersweet. I can go back to the place, but it very much isn't the same. So yeah, I get that. I mean, there's a lot of places I can't even go back to. I'd love to go back, like I said, to my grandparents' house. But I think if I did, even if the owners let me walk through, would it be the same? It wouldn't look the same, but it wouldn't be the same because grandma and grandpa aren't there. My Aunt Pam, who I always hung out with at that house, she's passed away years ago. Yeah, that's a good point. But it would be neat to go by and see those 3 houses though, right? And take pictures of the lake and maybe watch the birds go by just to have an afternoon out there. John, thanks for sharing. I got to get up to Maine. I bet you it's just one of the most beautiful places in the world. It's got to be. Let's see. What do we got here? We got some more. Marcia Hopkins says, I don't often comment, but wanted to chime in to tell you that I loved your episode about your dad. I lost my dad several years ago and wish I could go back and let him know how much he meant to me. Thank you, Marcia. That means a lot. Regarding the homecoming episode, my parents owned a cottage on a small inland lake here in Michigan for most of my childhood. I have so many wonderful memories of being there for the holidays, weekends, and spending at least a couple of weeks there as a vacation in the summer. My parents did not sell the cottage until my children were in high school so that they and my husband share wonderful memories with me at the college. I love that they all loved it as much as I did. I would love to go back. The simple cottage we loved has since been torn down, and now a beautiful home sits on the lot. Keep up the good work, Mike. Thanks for sharing. Marcia, thank you so much. And wow, that's cool that not only you have those memories, but your husband got to have those memories and your kids. Because I wonder about that. You know, a lot of times as you get older, right, you have these memories, but when you meet your significant other a little bit later in life, like they don't have any memories of your high school friends. You know, you talk about your high school friends, they have no recollection of them other than what you told them. They didn't meet your high school friends or like your grandparents. Luckily, my wife got to meet my grandparents. So when I talk about Grandpa Charlie or my grandma Ruth, she got to know them. But I just wonder, folks that got to meet later in life and you don't have that commonality, you know, there's no connection there. And I feel bad about that. But because I know friends that are like that, but I'm glad that my wife got to know, and that's cool that you have that in that cottage. It's a shame that it's gone, but it's good that everybody has those memories together. Thanks for sharing. That means a lot to me. And thanks for commenting. Don't be a stranger, Marcia. I'd love that. Sorry, I'm a mess now that I now that I read that UIC Instagram post, man, it messed me up again. Trisha up in Wisconsin. We have so many pumpkin patches ranging from roadside stands to the more commercialized. We are enjoying our fall colors while we hunt for pumpkins in the field. My daughter always goes for the biggest and most expensive pumpkins. That would be Mallory too. That she can find and barely lift. A specialty of Wisconsin are apple cider donuts and go hand in hand with pumpkin picking. Okay, I think apple cider donuts are a thing up in the Northeast too, because I listened to a podcast and one of the guys is in Rhode Island and he says like they get they have like an app that you can download that tells you like where they actually have them each day for apple cider donuts. That sounds good. Donuts in general sound good right now. Continuing with Trisha's. When you mentioned that your grandparents' house had 2 fireplaces, it reminded me of my grandparents' farmhouse. They had the fancy sitting room fireplace, but we basically lived in their finished basement where the second fireplace was. We played hours of pool, drinking root beer in the front of that fire. Trisha, that so the second fireplace really wasn't a fancy one. It was a buck stove, but that's where we all hung out. It was the smaller room, but it had the TV and it's where we watched football. And it was like basically it was a room that started off as a screened in porch, but then my grandpa just made it into a room, like he made it a permanent room. He turned it into like, the back room of the house and then put a buck stove in there. And that's, I don't know, that's just where we all lived. I mean, it's where everybody was. But man, that was a great house. I loved it. It wasn't big, but it was full of love. Dennis, my good friend down in Texas, says, you had to know that when you mentioned Mizzou and homecoming that I would comment. That's right. I always loved homecoming at the University of Missouri when I was a student there. Missouri only got 3 wins per season in my time, and homecoming was usually one of them. The decorations and skits in Greektown were always a great time, and it was just incredible to have all the excited alumni back in town. It has been hard to get back to Mizzou since I moved to Texas, but I really want to get back for homecoming weekend someday. I went back for you, Dennis, got us the win, had some Shakespeare's pizza at the very end of the game. When we won, everybody gets Shakespeare's yelled, MIZZOU. And it was awesome. Drove through Greektown. Decks were great. We didn't go down for the Friday evening deck contest, but, life is busy. Francis Howell did beat Rockbridge, though, on Friday night. We watched it from home. That was in Columbia, so that was nice. We blocked the kick. They were going to kick a field goal to win on the last play of the game, and we blocked it, so that was sweet. Okay, 2 more. Francesca says, here in New York, we look forward to fall for apple and pumpkin picking. God, that sounds great. There are no shortage of pumpkin patches, everything from basic local farms to very commercial places with kiddie rides, petting zoos, corn mazes, and overpriced pumpkins, pumpkin pies, etc. The big joke this fall is that it has rained here every weekend for the past 6 weeks, so it's been tough to find a good day to go pumpkin or apple picking. We had a couple, not this year, but a few years ago, that happened in St. Louis. Like, it wouldn't rain during the week, but it rained every weekend in the fall. It was the same thing. Like the pumpkin, because it was on the news, that the people who own the patches were like so mad at the weather people because that's when they make their dough, and they just couldn't make it because like people wouldn't go to the patches because it was just like terrible weather every weekend. And then on Monday it'd be nice. Yeah, it was the same thing. I feel bad. Continue with Francesca's comments. Our school district's homecoming parade was even canceled due to rain. I used to love homecoming in high school, and now my daughter looks forward to walking in her homecoming parade every year. I often think about going back to college for a reunion. It'd be great to revisit all the old haunts, my dorm room, the quad where we all hung out, and the various watering holes around town. I look back at my college years as some of the best years of my life, and a lot of my closest and dearest friends today are those I met in college. So on my bucket list is to 1 year rally the troops to go and visit for a long weekend and reminisce. Got to do it. Next year, Francesca, make it happen. He didn't say what your alma mater is. It's got to be a good one. I mean, it's probably not Mizzou, but and you guys probably think I went to Mizzou. I didn't go to Mizzou. I couldn't afford it when I was a kid. When I was in college, I went to Missouri Baptist, which is not real exciting. Actually, I graduated from the University of Missouri St. Louis, which is even worse. I did get my gifted certification from Mizzou, so I do have a degree from Mizzou. And finally, Trisha out in Indiana says, I lived in the same house from birth until right before my senior year of high school, so all my childhood memories are in that home. I have had many dreams where I walk up to the door and knock and ask the person if I can come inside and see it. I would love to know what it looks like now. Sometimes, especially around Christmas, I'll smell something that reminds me of a time in that house. The house where we lived after that, I was away at college, and then I got married, and then my parents built a new house, so I don't really have anywhere to go back to that feels like home. Yeah, kind of same. My dad lives in a new house. My mom lives in an apartment. I don't have anywhere to, like I said, my grandparents, their house was more like home than anywhere, and that's been sold. I don't have anywhere to go back to. And even my wife's house, her parents sold their house. They live kind of out near us now. It is kind of sad when you get older, when you don't have a place, your childhood home's gone. Let me ask you this question too. Again, patreon.com/BRGuestPodcast. You guys are great and this is all the comments. Please keep them coming. I love the comments. Has anybody ever gone to like your old childhood home and like knocked on the door and just asked if you could see it? Is that weird? I mean, if somebody came up to my house right now and wanted to go through it, that'd be weird. But God, I'd love to go through my house, like where I was, where I was born to like sixth grade in Old Town Florissant and just look at it. I'm so curious about what it is on the inside. I love if I could just have 5 minutes to see like my old bedroom. But if somebody did it to me, I'd think it was like a freak show. I would want somebody like right now, if somebody came to my front door, no way, man, get out. I wouldn't want somebody to do that, but I'd love to do it to somebody else. I'd love to see that. Yeah. No, we don't do that, right? Do you? I don't know. How would you approach it? Would you email them? Would you no, we don't do that. I guess not. But I'd love to do that. I don't know. Like now I'm torn. Okay. Here's what I have for today's topic. Real quick, because we're running way long because of the comments, but I love the comments. I was on the treadmill this morning and I was just walking. Tuesday's my walk day. I don't run. And I'm walking for 2 hours. So I saw this sitting on the shelf. And if you are a Run Disney person, you know what this box is. This is a shoe box. And this is from the glory days back when you would go to the expo and you could buy Run Disney New Balance sneakers. And for about 3 or 4 or 5 years, every year you would go to a Run Disney race, there was a new sneaker you could buy that had Mickey or Goofy or Dopey or Tinkerbell, whatever. You had a new character, and they were good New Balance running shoes. They were nice, and I have probably 10 different pair of these shoes. And the boxes were even cool. Look at this box. And if you're listening to the show, you can go to YouTube. I put these on YouTube too. So just go to youtube.com/BRGuestPodcast. You can see the video to see all this. And I'll take some pictures and put them on Instagram. But I have this box that's been taped up since we moved in 2019 with stuff from the old house in the old office. And I thought I'd just see what's in this box and just pull out a couple things because it's kind of fun to see. This is all Disney stuff, I'm sure, in here. I have no idea what's in here, but I just pull some things out to see what's in here. Just show you just a little show and tell for about 5 minutes, and then see what you might find around your storage room that maybe you could share in the comments. All right, here we go. This is kind of cool. Here's a map as I open up the box. This is a map of the Magic Kingdom from October 1st, 2016. This is when I was down at Walt Disney World at the Magic Kingdom for the 45th anniversary of the Magic Kingdom. Special limited edition map, October 1st, 2016, 45 years of the Magic Kingdom. So that's kind of neat. What's this one? Oh, here's one. October 1st, 2021. There's the 50th. So I got a Magic Kingdom map from exactly 5 years later. I don't know how that got in there because this should have been, I thought that was taped up. This is a guide map from October 1st, 2011. So this was what would that been? 40th anniversary of the Magic Kingdom. So this is stuff I had laying around by my computer when we moved. I threw it all in this box so I could like put it away. Now this is a cool map. If you're not looking at the video, it resembles the old e-tickets. It shows A, B, C, D, and E on the map. And it'd be kind of cool to go through this from 2011 and see like what you have and all that stuff. Let's see, is there something in here that's closed? What we got? Trying to find something that's not around anymore. Pirates League is on here. Not much has changed. Splash Mountain, of course, is on here. What else do we have? Dream Along with Mickey, the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, Snow White's Scary Adventures. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see. All right, what else is in here? Oh, here's a little pamphlet from Marceline when I visited on my first Father's Day after Mallory was born in 2009. Little thing I got from Marceline, Missouri. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, this is fun. This is a media calendar that I got from Disney. It's for your desk. I got this at a media event, and it's from 2014. So each day, it's from Disney Parks Public Relations. Each day, it shows you like something that happened in Disney history. So again, if you go to brguestpodcast.com/ or youtube.com/BRGuestPodcast, you can kind of see this, but it's got cool pictures like of that. This one has a Grand Floridian. There's Disney Cruise Line, but it shows you like little tips and stuff about Disney destinations. That's kind of fun. Oh, and the promo at that time was show us your Disney side. Remember that promo? That was kind of fun. What else is in here? Disney Cruise Line receipt. I don't know what that's from. A bunch of Disney Cruise Line stuff. Uh-oh, here's some more Disney stuff. Here's the Tower of Terror 10 miler. Run Disney event guide from 2014. This is like a real thick book. Now you're lucky if you just get a link to a website. This is a book that even has page numbers. It is 50 pages long. That, I mean, it's on thick paper and it is purple. I mean, this is quality event guide. 2014 Tower of Terror event guide. Of course, I got stationery. Remember all the stationery you used to get on Disney Cruise Line? A postcard? Postcards. Who has postcards anymore? Look at that little sketch thing you got. Mickey Mouse. What's this? Oh, remember when you used to get these little envelopes in your room with all your magical extras that had like your times guide and all that? These were in your resort rooms. Had each day had your parade guide, parade times, and like told you like what time the parades were, the fireworks, all the other park times. Downtown Disney. That was before Disney Springs. Okay, see what else we got. What kind of stuff did I save? Okay. Do you guys save these? Now, these are paper, so you can save these. These are the things from Disney Cruise Line. They're the kind of like do not disturb things you hang on the door, but they're not the do not disturb things. What they are is the things if you order room service in the morning on the backside, you check off what you want to be delivered in the morning for your breakfast. So it says select your delivery time, 5:30, 5:30 to 6, 6 to 6:30. And then you pick off what you want for breakfast. Your orange, apple, grapefruit juice. Do you want a fresh fruit bowl, Danish pastries, bagel? Do you want cornflakes, raisin bran? Do you want, English muffins? You pick your breakfast, you hang this on the door, and it gets delivered the next day. I don't know why I saved those, but I'm a hoarder, I guess. Oh, check this out. Here's a button from October 1st, 2016 that they gave out for the 45th anniversary at the Magic Kingdom. That's kind of fun. What else is in here? Uh-oh. It's a Tennessee game day guide. When we went to Tennessee to Rocky Top. How'd they get in here? That's from Tennessee versus Mizzou, November 22nd, 2014. Mizzou won that game. Oh, here's some park tickets. Let the memories begin. Oh, this is for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. And it was, is there a date on here? September 28th, 2012. That was fun. What else do we have in here? Here's an autograph book. Remember those? Not even, it's still sealed with Tinkerbell on it. Still sealed autograph book. Got some bib magnets with an I'm celebrating button. Those are old school. What's this? Oh my gosh. And I have a picture of, let's see, it's Donald, Daisy, Mickey, and Goofy. And on the back, it says, it's signed. Let's see what it says. Dear Ramen Safari, we hope you had a wild time here at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. We especially hope that little lizard Mallory had fun running her big race. You guys are rock stars. Asante Sana, and we hope to see you real soon. Your friends at the front desk. Epic October 2014. So somebody knew we were there at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and they gave Mallory this signed picture because we stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge that race weekend. So that's about it. There's a couple other random things in here. There's a lanyard from Disney Cruise Line. What else? A couple more of these little pouches they give you for your room. And there's a couple credit cards and stuff. Expired credit cards. I'm going to show those. So that's what's in the box. The Run Disney box of junk. So let me ask you this. Do you have a box like this on the shelf in your storage room? Go find it and see what kind of little items do you have. Tag me at BRGuestMike on Instagram. Make a post. I'm going to post some of this stuff and put it on Instagram so you can see and everybody can see, but you got to hear about it here on Mike in the Midwest. But okay, here's the assignment for next week. We got a lot going on for next week. So let me know about that. Let me know about the kids. Brag on your kids. And of course, next week's going to be Halloween Day. I want your feedback on your best Halloween memory as a kid so we can share it on Halloween. So, what was your best costume? What was your best trick or treating experience? What was your best haunted house experience? You, your kids, whatever. I want to do a Halloween show next week, but I need your feedback to do that. So, again, patreon.com/BeOurGuest podcast. Light it up so we can have a fun show for Halloween next Tuesday to get us in the mood to go out trick-or-treating. All right, you guys have a great week. Thanks for hanging with me. I hope you have an awesome one. I appreciate you guys so much. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.